Kenny Wayne Shepherd, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I want to talk about that big first step. I was thinking about your story, your history. For people that don't know, you did Ledbetter. You were 16, right?
I signed my record deal when I was 16 and I
Yeah.
started writing for the Ledbetter Heights album. But once we began recording it, I was 17. I was just finishing up my senior year in high school.
So, were you always, was this your path your whole life? What was that big first step? Was there a moment where you went, this is all I'm going to do? This is what I want to do?
Well, so I was young and naive, but I also was, I don't know, reasonable enough to understand that there's no guarantees. So I had no expectation to make it. It was literally kind of like a moment by moment thing. But I do remember like the biggest defining moment for me was when I was like 13 years old. I was down in New Orleans with my dad. We are at this thing called the NAB convention for the National Association of Broadcasters because my dad
Yeah.
was on the radio. And so we were down there, but we'd always go down to New Orleans and we'd see this guy named Brian Lee. And he was this blind blues guitar player and I was a big fan of his. And he had a residency at the old Absinthe House on Bourbon Street, and we went down to go see him. And one of my dad's friends actually went up to Brian in between one of his sets and asked him to let me sit in with him. And I had never really been on stage before, and so Brian agreed. And so I basically remember there was this defining moment when I was just about to step on that stage, and I remember thinking to myself, this is going to go either it's going to go okay or it's going to go horribly wrong. And if this goes bad, I'm never doing this again, like ever, because I was incredibly shy. And so I was just kind of like preparing for the worst in my mind. And so, anyways, I was only supposed to play two songs and then played the first song. And I was kind of had long hair and I was hiding my face behind my hair. And we finished the song. And all of a sudden, people started clapping. And I looked up and the whole place was on their feet. And I got my first standing ovation. And then we did the second song and the same thing happened. And then I was about to get off the stage and Brian stopped me and he's like, "You're not going anywhere." And he kept me up. And I played with him till like 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was like the moment I had the confidence to actually go, I might be able to do something with this. And that's really kind of the moment that propelled me forward into pursuing this as a career.
Was there a plan B?
No, like when I did my original interviews, when the first record came out, and people were like, "Well, what are you going to do if this music thing doesn't work out?" And I would always say, "Well, I don't know, but I would imagine I'll go and race cars or something." Because my passion, my the only other passion that I have that's neck and neck with music outside of my family is I love automobiles, and so I just that was probably the only alternative for me, but I never really seriously considered it because this was all that I knew. It's all I
We want to talk about Ledbetter Heights. And I was thinking about this. I'm a fan of music. Obviously, we listen to you and the emotion and the feel of a blues guitar. I will never, ever, ever understand where it comes from. When you hit a note in a song, when you start telling a story, which you do in Voodoo, to me, you tell a story through that whole song. Where does that come from? Can you explain that? Can you quantify that for someone who's just a schlub like me?
well, when it comes to blues music, and my music is often categorized as blues music, but it's not traditionally, like historically, it's not been
Okay.
traditional blues. We do traditional blues from time to time, and when we do that, I believe we do it with the best of them. But my goal always has been to propel the genre forward, and so I take blues and mix it with rock and other genres that I grew up listening to try and create something that's more contemporary sounding and makes it more relevant to today, what's happening today. So, anyways, that's a sidebar. But the one qualification, the most important qualification for playing blues music authentically, I believe, is to play it from your heart and to figure out how to tap into your emotions, your internal emotions, and channel them through your instrument. And then externally to the listener and to the audience. And so Hubert Sumlin, who was Howlin' Wolf's guitar player, and he's an incredibly famous guy in the blues world. He told me, he was like, "Hey man, if I'm feeling what I'm playing, then the audience has to feel it too." And so that's kind of the key component for me. And everything that I do, my goal is to try and channel as much of my internal emotions and energy into my instrument so that hopefully that goes out to the listener and it stirs up something within them.
Well, we do. It does. Because I was wondering about this. I was watching that Billy Joel documentary, which is really it's interesting no matter who you are in music. And somebody made a joke. They said, "Thank God he can't express himself emotionally normally, or we would never get these songs."
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about musicians is one of the most common threads is like, I don't know how you categorize it, you know. I'm not a professional in regards to that, but like I would imagine like most musicians have some sort of social anxiety, some sort
Right.
of like something that inhibits them from them feeling like they can fully be themselves and fully express themselves, but something happens when they sit behind their instrument or put their instrument on, and it opens up this ability to communicate your truest form of yourself to other people in a vulnerable way, but in a way that you can do it. And so yes, I mean, for me, like, you know, some people are storytellers, you know, in music. I feel like I'm an emotion seeker, you know what I mean? Like trying to find my emotions and express them, and then hopefully, you know, pull out the emotions of other people as well in the process of doing that.
You are sitting on my porch on a summer night, listening to you and just kind of vibing. I don't need a drink. I could be having a cup of coffee or just hanging out with my friends or my wife, the people I care about, and just the music. And it's a thread. If that's
Okay.
the best way I can explain your music, it's a thread for me. It's one of those things. And Ledbetter, what was it like 30 years later? Is it right? Did you go back and get your original rig and start using it again?
Yeah, so thankfully
Whoa.
I have all the equipment, you know, from my early days I still have. So, yeah, we went into the studio in preparation for this tour like because we're doing a tour where we play the entire album in concert. And we've never done that. Like even when the record was brand new, we never played all these songs live in concert. And to be honest, the majority of the songs on this record, save about four, we haven't played for the better part of the last 29 years. So we had to get reacquainted with these songs and all these parts. I mean, it's all in there for me, but for the band, you know, a lot of these guys had to learn this stuff. So anyways, I just thought, you know, let's record it and let's do a version of the record. You know, this is the band doing it today. We did a similar thing with the second record, Trouble Is, for the 25th anniversary. But what was interesting about that is we had all the same guys basically in the studio, and so we recreated that album. I wanted to go, okay, well, look, we can do this exact same thing 25 years later, 25 years older. But this record, the goal was never to recreate it because we don't have all the original players and all the original people. Different singer on the first record, and he actually recently passed away. So just straight off the bat, the vocals would not be the same. The only two original people on this version is myself and Chris Layton from Stevie Ray Vaughan's band.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're not trying to recreate it, but we're also not trying to reinvent it. So it's like, okay, this is us doing this music in 2026. And for me, it's really cool because you can hear like how I have evolved as a player, how I've matured as a player. I play some different solos. We do some different endings here and there. There's one song we did a really different treatment to, but it's like, I don't know, you can compare like my 47, 48-year-old self to my 17-year-old self, and you can hear the soul and the spirit and the inspiration is all still there. But I do believe like the newer version sounds more refined. I just think it's a really interesting perspective to go, this is the hungry, you know, aspirational, wide-eyed 17-year-old self, and now this is the seasoned veteran that's been doing it, you know, for the majority of my life and still
Sure.
has the same passion for this music.
Now I'm gonna go listen to both. I'm gonna listen to the original. I'm gonna do back to back. I need to do that to kind of just
Yeah.
get that Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Okay, I only got you for a minute. I'm gonna give you 10 words. I'm gonna throw some guitarist names at you, and I want to hear just real quick. There's no right answer. Just from your heart. You talked about like comes from here. You ready?
Mhm.
Hendrix,
The GOAT, greatest
Prince,
of all time. Prince, he's probably, I mean, he gets the respect, but like, I don't think people comprehend just how incredible he was.
Stevie Ray,
He lit the fire in me to do what I do.
Clapton,
Well, Clapton is probably my third greatest all time influence on guitar.
BB King.
The King, two
Yeah,
words. The
yeah.
King, yeah, absolutely.
And I know you Eddie Van Halen,
Wow. So to me, he's the Michael Jordan of our generation when it comes to guitar.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Man, still just inside, I'm still just a kid who is playing guitar in my living room, except there's a lot of people that come and join me now, you know.
You're the best. Kenny, nothing but continued success. You're always welcome here at CSX in Detroit, man. Love talking to you. Ledbetter Heights, everyone, take a moment, sit down and listen to this. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.